morning, everyone. It is a new day. This video is supposed to be just what a regular work week looks like for me, a little bit more behind the scenes. So yesterday what did I do? I worked on a book video from 10 a.m. till about 2 p.m., went to Pilates, did the Pilates, came home, continued to work from about 4:30 to 6:30, got dinner with Kurt. We came home, and then from about 9 or 9:30 until close to midnight, I also worked on my book video. But by worked on my book video, I mean I just read nonstop. So today is more of an editing day. I just did a load of laundry, and I'm filming this, and then I'm going to be editing this, and then I'm planning for the upcoming month. So I have some weeks where I'm just like filming, and then other weeks is more like editing and planning, and this is an editing and planning week. But I asked for some questions on Instagram, and I actually got a ton. So later today, we're gonna do a Q&A, but a lot of the questions were about like discipline, working for yourself, how do you stay motivated and on a schedule, how do you organize your work? And that happens to fit in perfectly with the sponsor of this video, which isn't technically a sponsorship, it is my husband's company. This video is sponsored by Mirror. Full disclaimer, I'm totally biased because this is Kurt's baby, but I genuinely love this product, and it does actually help me stay organized with work. Mirror is an internet browser that aims at helping you organize your kind of online life, help you focus more, help you stay on task. It does that through a bunch of different features, mainly that you can make separate sessions for separate tasks. So I will show you here. You can see on my Mirror that I have different workspaces that are, for example, work or travel or just life. And within those sections, I break it down even further into specifically like my YouTube work, my work with Mirror, or travel. As you can see, I have different slots for different trips that we are hopefully taking. And then within those sessions, you can organize your tabs on the left into different folders. You can highlight things. So I'm the kind of person that I do not like having multiple tabs open, and because of that, I will end up creating chaos where my bookmarks are a mess, or I will just have Google Docs of links because I don't want to have all of these things open. So the fact that I can have all of my stuff open at once with just one click and then loaded to where I last was has been such a game changer, especially like for my work, for example. The second I get an email from my management and they're like, hey, can you check up on this or whatever? I just open my work tab and I have everything ready. My calendars are there, my campaigns, all of the like briefs that I'm sent, where I track my finances, how I make a thumbnail, where my scripts are. It's all right there. So literally one click and boom, I'm set to get ready for work, instead of when I will like open Google Chrome and start to look at other things. It's so customizable, and it really does help me. Like, I still use other browsers just for like a frantic quick Google search, but when I have a task that I'm accomplishing, I will do it on Mirror. It even actually came in clutch. I was going to go to Japan right now. Like, I should be in Japan right now. I ended up needing to change everything, and because I still had my Mirror session of my plans, I just opened that and I was able to immediately change everything. Like, all of my flights and where I was staying and everything was still open, so I could just go like change, request change. I was stressed, but it was so much less stressful. I highly recommend it. We have a lot of people who have used it, and thank you so much to everyone who has sent feedback. But we get a lot of responses from people who are working on their PhDs, and they have a ton of research that they need to organize. It has so many other features. It has note-taking features, but really it's just about making the internet work for you. And I personally love, we just did a big update for appearance customization and themes, so you can change how it looks. And I'm really obsessed with my homepage currently. I love it so much. It is helping me currently with potential house hunting. It helps me organize my book channel. I have all my guitar tabs open, so when inspiration strikes, I can just sit down with my guitar and immediately open everything and I'm ready to go. Same thing with working working out. I have all the different folders for all my different workouts. It's just a really great service. Again, I'm biased, but it's just been really exciting seeing how much it has grown in just a couple months in terms of how much it has changed and listened to feedback and stuff like that. So yeah, this truly is such a game changer for if you need to organize specifically your work. If you have issues with that, please give it a try. It is currently only available on Mac OS, but I happen to know that mobile and Windows are in the works. So you can go to mirror.work right now and download it, or put yourself on the email list for updates about mobile and Windows. So yeah, it's only available on desktop right now, but that will change in the near future, and I'm so excited. Thank you so much for your feedback. It's really just a wonderful product. So thank you to Mirror for sponsoring this. And yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of editing and then I will see you guys a little bit later. But yeah, mirror.work, check them out, get organized. Hi, so unexpectedly not feeling well that time of the month, and so I've just been kind of right there, but I was reading and I just hit a point where I really wanted to talk about the book. I'm 50% of the way through, so I just sat down and filmed some short form content. So I'm going to whip that up, throw that up on TikTok. I'm trying to like just not care, just like put stuff up that I'm like excited to talk about, not really worrying about, not that I'm not worrying about quality, but like I feel like the things I have to say are more important than how it looks. So I'm just kind of sitting down whenever I have a chance. So I'm going to edit that now. It's 4:30. Kurt has a dinner meeting, so I think I'm really just gonna sit on that couch and read and sleep the rest of the day. So let me do this, and then a little bit later we can have our Q&A, okay? But yeah, this is really what my editing weeks are, is like me at home reading, and then when I'm not reading, I'm filming, and then when I'm not reading or filming, I'm editing. So let's go. And I am using CapCut. Okay, here we go. So like I said, I asked on Instagram if you guys had any questions about being a content creator, and I got way too many questions. So I tried to combine them into about 10 questions, and a lot of them I've already answered, so I'll link some Q&As that I've done down below, especially asking about like, editing software and like what devices I use and stuff like that. So these are either new questions or just updated ones, because it's been a really long time since I've done this. So most of the questions were honestly money related, so I'm gonna kind of cover those first. But the first one was really, how did you know when to switch? When did I switch to full-time? Was I financially stable? Like, what were the markers for me in terms of going full-time? And so I started this channel at the very end of 2016, and almost to the day, 3 years after I started, I went full-time. So I was still working. I worked in social media, I worked in marketing for 3 years while also doing YouTube, just like whenever I came home, whenever I had free time. So yeah, 3 years, like almost exactly 3 years was how long I waited until the switch. Honestly, the switch came for kind of a plethora of reasons. I was kind of done with working at my current company, so I was planning on actually quitting and then finding something else, because, and this is another question I got asked a lot, which I'll return to, but I kind of had this prejudice that this wasn't a real job, not for other people, but like specifically for me. I just didn't feel good. I didn't feel stable in this work. And so I was like, I'm gonna, take some time off, gonna find another job. I didn't quit thinking this is gonna be my full-time thing, but I felt comfortable quitting my office job because at that point I was making close to, not quite, but like relatively close to what I was making my salary for my office job. But keep in mind, I was working in Korea, so salaries here are very low. Cost of living, especially 5 years ago, whatever that was very low. I was living in a basement apartment that cost me $400 a month in rent. Like, I was not spending much money. So I felt comfortable in that sense. And for me, I need stability. So I definitely went the more conservative route. I know some people make the switch earlier so that they have more time to focus on making content and like really putting their all into it. But for me, I was sort of like, no, I need a safety net kind of thing. So yeah, I went full time at the end of 2019, right before COVID. And then after that, in the summer of 2020 is when I started my book channel. So when I started my book channel, I had already been full-time for about 6 months. And then related to that, people were asking about the 40-hour work week. How much do I work? And honestly, I think that I work more hours for myself than I did at my office job. And that's sort of just because A, that's my personality. I like doing things, so I will always find some kind of work to do, and B, there's no one above or below me in terms of dealing out tasks. I'm in charge of my budget, I'm in charge of how much content I put out. So in my office job, I had like a manager, and we had to wait for like the CEO to okay certain things and blah 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 blah. But here it's like, if I get an idea, I can just run with it, so there's no one stopping me, and I'm kind of like a go person. It's really dependent on you in terms of how much you want to work. Obviously, I work much more, but it feels like less work, if that makes sense. Like, it's something that I love and would be doing anyway. So 40-hour work week. We didn't know her when I was in my office job. We don't know her now. And then of course asking for just like a monetary breakdown. How does my money work? Where do I get money from? So I get paid from a couple different sources. The first is just straight up from YouTube. I don't get paid on Instagram or TikTok. I have made money on Instagram like once. If you do a live stream, people can donate money, but that felt weird. So I only get paid through YouTube for streaming, for like my views. So I get that money. They send it to you monthly from Google. And then I get sponsorships, which they pay you. Sometimes they pay you all at a certain time. Like now that I've switched to having a management, they pay me all at once. But sometimes when I was working just kind of freelance, they would pay you like 30 days after or something like that. So it's usually within a month you get paid. And then I don't really do this, but a lot of influencers make money off of affiliate links. So I have a couple. Like if you sign up for the music sites that I use, I get a little kickback, stuff like that. But I don't actively use affiliate links. But some people make their full time, like the bulk of their salary from affiliate links. So anytime you click a link in like a Instagram story or something like that from an influencer, it will probably, the URL will probably say like, I forget what they're called, like R share or something, and they will get a percentage of that. So, but I mostly just get YouTube AdSense and then sponsorships. And then in terms of how much money, it does fluctuate every month, but I'm absolutely making, compared to my office job, which again was in Korea, the salary was quite low. I'm making more than 3 times what I was making at an office job. And granted, like I said, I think I work a lot more and I was severely underpaid. But it's, what I'm making now would be equal to a well-paying job in the US for a person my age who has been in their career for that long, like 5-6 years. So in Korea, that's like a nice amount of money. I think in the US, it wouldn't be quite as stable. But that's basically what it is. It's very comparable to a United States salary within like the marketing, social media sector, like not an influencer, but like working the behind the scenes marketing part. You know what I'm trying to say? Like a marketing manager, community manager kind of role. And then I've talked about taxes and other things. I got a lot of questions about taxes. I've talked about that in another video, so I'll find it and link it down below. But yeah, you do get to pay US taxes too. And then people asked about sponsorships. Who reached out first? Like, how do you get them? And so for me, when I started my channel, I know that I reached out to people. I don't know I'm not sure who my very first sponsor was, so I don't know if I got reached out to first, but I definitely was actively emailing people or now like DMing people, just being like, hey, wondering if you'd like to collaborate. But now I don't do that. I get approached, and now within just like the past 6 months, like I said, I've joined a management company and they deal with that part for me. And really the main reason why I joined management is because I cannot bring myself to fight for the correct fee. I'm not really motivated by money, so I have trouble asking for what I'm worth. And honestly, like, yeah, it's bad for myself, like, boo, I don't get as much money as I could, but it kind of hurts my fellow creators who are asking for more. Like, if they're asking for what they deserve and then I pull up and I'm like, yeah, I'll take this lowball offer you gave me, that's gonna make the company keep trying to push everybody down. And so really we should all, like, there's no union, there's no organization within the kind of influencer community. So stop taking free work, not just for yourself, because you deserve payment, but for your fellow influencers, okay? But yeah, so for sponsorships, I definitely did reach out. Tagging people on Instagram is really helpful to help them like find you and stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of my weakest point, is asking for money and sponsorships and stuff like that. So not the best person to ask. And then kind of like I said earlier, people were asking about routines, being your own boss. Do I miss my traditional office job / does it get lonely? And then discipline. And for that, I think it's just a personality thing. I really like working for myself. I love making schedules, sticking to schedules. I never miss a deadline. But do I miss my traditional office job and does it get lonely? I do miss sometimes, not all the time, but I do miss like going into the office and just like having my coworkers around and just like the weird shenanigans that would happen in the office. I do miss that. But in terms of does it get lonely, I've been lucky enough to like befriend people who work in the creative field, not necessarily just YouTubers, but in all different kinds of creative work. And so being able to like meet up with them, talk about our struggles, because sometimes it does feel like silly, some of the things that I struggle with, but then to have other people voice those feelings as well is really nice. So yeah, it does get lonely, but I would rather be in the situation that I'm in now than be in the situation I was in. But I do think in the future, like I've told Kurt this, but if we ever move back to the US, I would love to get a part-time job. I think like working in a bookstore or something. I'd love that, just to have more human interaction on a daily, weekly basis kind of thing would be really nice. So yeah, I think really question like, what is your work ethic? How can you make it easier for you if you aren't very disciplined? Because you can do it. You can do it. And then getting to this one, I got a lot of questions about this, but how do you deal with people thinking this is not a real job? And ironically, people in my real life are so supportive and understanding and just like wonderful about my work. Like I've never had people be like, oh, you're an influencer. I've never experienced that in my life. I've only seen that like vaguely on like social media, like a stand-up comedian will say like, ugh, influencers or something. Or like my other content creator friends will be like, ugh, influencers. But like people in my family, people whose opinions matter to me, they all take my job more seriously than I do, I think. It's really me who needs to work on my opinion of myself. It's so dumb because I respect the hard work of all of my friends who work in various creative fields, but for me, I feel this kind of guilt that like I shouldn't be having this much fun. You know, like I get to stay home and read and talk about books and go to coffee shops, and that's my life. And I feel really, really guilty about it. And I've kind of talked about this since I've started my channel. So it's something that I'm still kind of working on, but there are other people who love what they do and get to have such a fun time. And I don't like look down on them for it. So for me, really, it's just a kind of personal journey I need to go on. But yeah, I just need to remind myself that like, I know that I'm working so hard and I know that I'm making more of an impact on people than I was when I was just in my office job, putting money into Facebook to make an ad. Like when I take a step back and look at my work, I'm very proud of it. But while I'm like talking about it, or when I'm sort of, I don't know, just not feeling good about myself, I definitely still doubt this being a real job, but maybe that's just me being brainwashed, thinking that you need to suffer in order to work. Speaking of work-life balance, got it. Will not comment on it. I've been better about like not filming, putting aside time to not film, but it's not a consistent schedule. It's just kind of when I feel like it. So yeah, work-life balance, work in progress. Got a lot of questions about, does booktube take the joy out of reading, or does monetizing your hobbies take the joy out of it? And honestly, I think it amplifies it, especially for reading. Being able to talk about how these books have affected me and have conversations with people and just like laugh about these ridiculous words on a page amplifies it 100%. I think that any frustration I feel about reading, I would feel anyway. Like, I hate when I'm in a reading slump, but I would hate that I'm in a reading slump regardless of if I was a booktuber or not, kind of thing. So no, so far, luckily for me, it hasn't really affected my love of my hobbies, and that's something that I'm really cautious of, for sure. And then last two, a couple questions about, do you think that this has an expiration date? Is this a forever job? And for me personally, no, I don't think it's a forever job. I would love to still keep this community in some way for as long as we can go, but no, I think the internet changes so much and I change so much. I don't know if I would want to continue this forever, but I would love to use this in some way as a jumping off point for a future career. I think that one thing I was really worried about when I started content creation was, like, when I went full time, I thought, once I get another real job, where am I going? What am I going to say about this like gap in my resume? I'm so annoying. You know, am I gonna really tell people like, ugh, I was a YouTuber for X amount of years? And yeah, you can. We are our own little media companies. At least me, like, we make content strategies, we film, we edit, we are the face. I think that the world recognizes how much work actually goes into a channel, or, you know, whether you're on Instagram or on TikTok or anything like that. I think the world is coming around and realizing like, oh, you actually do need skills to do this. So I do not think that this is a forever job. I have no idea what I want to do after this. I mean, everybody wants to open a bookstore / cafe somewhere. But realistically, I have no plans, but I'm also no longer afraid that this was like just a fun little hobby thing. This is a legitimate job. And I know that I just said that I don't think it's a job. Do you see? I'm just a bundle of contradictions, okay? When I'm telling other people that their work matters, I mean it, I believe it, but when I'm telling myself, it takes a little bit. And then last question, I'm glad you guys asked these. What is my favorite part and my least favorite / hardest part of being a full-time content creator? I mean, obviously I feel like the community aspect of it, that's one of the reasons why I feel less lonely working just by myself, is because twice a week, usually more than that, I'm able to like talk to you guys and read your comments. And then sometimes insanely, I will go on a trip and we'll have a meetup and I can see you guys face to face and just like meet incredibly interesting people who like the things that I like. And we are not easy people to find usually. Like, a lot of us are introverts who like to be solo. So being able to finally just like instantly click with people across the world has been just such a blessing. So that's got to be my favorite part for sure. But another huge part that I love is just that it feels so natural. Like I said, this is something I'd be doing anyway. I spent hours and hours and hours on the family computer in the computer room in my house, like in high school, just editing up like little music videos and stuff like that. So it really just feels like I'm just a kid having fun on her computer, and it just feels good. But I think then the flip side, my least favorite part, other than like monetary stuff, like the behind the scenes stuff that's like standing up for myself in terms of payment, answering emails, stuff like that, I feel like you're gonna get that anywhere you go. But the biggest issue for me is because it feels so natural, I also don't know when to stop. And that just ties into the work-life balance. I don't like, why would I stop editing? Like, when I worked in an office job, I would actively be looking at the clock most days, like for me it was 7 o'clock. When is 7 o'clock gonna roll around so that I can go home? But now I don't even notice what time it is because I'm just like having fun creating things or planning things or editing. So it's a double-edged sword, this love creating little videos online. But yeah, those were the main questions. If you have more specific ones, feel free to leave them down below and I'll try to answer them. But yeah, overall, I didn't go into this thinking I would be full-time, and here I am. What is this now? 1, 2, 3, 4 years later, and I love it and I'm so thankful that I did it. So I will also say, like, one tough love thing that I feel like isn't said enough, because a lot of people also ask, like, how do I start? There were people asking, like, how did you not get discouraged in the beginning when you started and all this stuff? And honestly, like, even though I only started posting in the end of 2016, I was on Tumblr for 4 years before that, growing a little bit of a following, so that when I started YouTube, I immediately had people viewing my channel already. So that's one thing that, like, I didn't just start, I had a following beforehand. So in terms of like, how do I just start fresh slate on YouTube, I honestly don't know. And second, a thing that I think people really need to talk about is just the amount of luck that comes with the algorithm. I had one video, I did an apartment tour of an apartment in Daegu, and it has like 4 million views, and that really boosted me so much. And then I had a couple other videos that did the same thing. If you don't get that, you can still grow, but it's gonna be this like slow growth. A lot of creators, if you look at your favorite creators that are like bigger subscriber numbers, look at their videos, they probably had a couple videos go viral, and like, who knows why. There are so many creators that are teeny tiny that make incredible content, and there are some huge creators that make, I don't know, content that's not my style. The difference is simply that they got lucky on the algorithm, and I really think you can have all the skill, but you also need some luck. And I think that goes with everything in life, but it's very true and just like very obvious on social media. So yeah, I don't know what the moral of that story is, but just know that like sometimes you just need luck. But you're also never gonna get lucky if you aren't like in the game, you know? Like, you aren't gonna win unless you're playing. So just keep posting, like, just make content that you love. You could get lucky one day. That's maybe the moral. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I'm gonna go have dinner. I will see you later. Yeah, I gotta go open a window. It's actually hot in here. This is the time of year where I don't know how to manage our floor heating. So I'm like constantly too hot in my house. Thank you for all your questions. Leave some down below. Bye. You thought I was done for the day? I just discovered a package that Kurt didn't tell me I got. It is 9:10 p.m. I knew that it was a book, so I filmed a book opening TikTok, and now I'm just gonna quickly edit that and throw that up as well. Okay. Friends, so I thought I was going to record an entire work week, but we're already at over 30 minutes of this video, so I'm just going to show on screen what my Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, which is today, has looked like. It is 3:40 p.m. and I'm about to go set up and film my worst books of the year video, and then hopefully that I'm just going to edit a little bit, but I kind of want to take a break. I'm so tired today. So I think I'm going to at least film it and like import it to my computer, try my best not to edit it, and just actually rest and maybe watch a movie or just like go for a walk or something. But yeah, this is a kind of typical half of a week. I think that I do when I'm filming more of like a week in my life kind of video that's more like less worky focus. I tend to have a bit more downtime. Like, I'm constantly filming, but I'm just like outside. It feels less like I'm working. But when I have weeks like this, when I'm just in my house for days, that's what it looks like. So yeah, very thankful. Like, I'm only tired because of like health, like body reasons. I'm just like happy that this is something that I get to do. So I just wanted to show you guys. I feel like I'm kind of crazy. I know that I do a little bit too much and produce a little bit too much. So, this isn't like at all you need to be working this hard in order to do like this full time. But that this is just an idea of like what some people do. And I feel like you could do less. Like I could pay someone to do subtitles for me, but for whatever reason, I decided to do it myself. So that's what it looks like. I think I'm gonna leave you here then, so I don't talk your ear off. Again, shout out to Mirror for sponsoring this. Truly check it out, especially if this is the year that you feel like you've got goals you want to accomplish, you want to do really well in school, you have tasks that you really want to focus on. Mirror is so fantastic. So go to mirror.work to download it now. If you're visiting mirror.work on a mobile device, it will prompt you to enter your email. It will send you a download link because you can't download. Mirror isn't on mobile yet, so you have to wait until you get to your desktop computer to actually download the app. But mobile and Windows are on the docket. They're already being worked on for 2024, and my camera battery is dying, so I need to go charge my battery so that I can film. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much again, Mirror. All that information will be down below. See you next time. Okay, thank you for all your questions. Bye.